Fraggle makes sushi.
Simulator.
Fraggle makes sushi for 3 hours. It's just a whole bunch
It's
of
gonna be 3 hours of Fraggle and just like
No.
oh no. It's gonna be
You guys, Fraggle plays Subnautica.
Ah, yes.
Media Network. For all of our shows and more, visit geek-io.net. And to help support the network, head over to patreon.com/geekio.
Calling all geeks. Calling all geeks.
Geeking out across the globe. Hold on to your butts. It's the Geek I.O. Show.
The Geek I.O. Show. Hooray, don't you
Yes, indeed, friends. Hello. Getting louder. Hello and welcome to the Geek I.O. Show, episode number 248. Your rant and review of Rurouni Kenshin Origins, as it's known in some places, or Rurouni Kenshin live action movie, recorded the 31st of May, 2018. I'm your host, Get the Kairos again. Hey, Fraggle.
Yeah.
Hey, you saw that movie, right?
Yeah, I saw that movie.
That's how you be a goddamn samurai! Vote.
I'm Raul, not overcompensating for anything with this sword.
I have no idea what's happening. I'm Dale, and we interrupt this program for a random lunch interlude, Campbell.
I'm Rachel, and even though I can't breathe, you're still going to want to kill him.
I'm Carrie, reverse sword form.
I get that joke. I'm Josh Degozaru.
I don't get that joke.
Did you watch it subtitled or yeah, you watched it subtitled.
Yes.
Degozaru is a samurai. It's like a speech tick that samurai use.
Ah, okay.
Speech form. Like instead of saying des, they say Degozaru.
Oh, there you go.
A lot of the brilliance in Sato Takeru's performance is in his speech patterns and how he changes them based on which Kenshin he's playing, basically.
Yeah.
All
right. This is, of course, the final episode of our AniMAY month. And talk about Rurouni Kenshin. I got it off of Vudu. It could be seen other places.
A lot of other places.
And you can get it on Blu-ray and DVD.
Yeah, that too. I did not have time to get those, though. So I rented it on Vudu. It was $4.
Voodoo, you do voodoo.
A former assassin who has resolved never to kill again has his vow sorely tested. This was released 25th of August, 2012. It says the main actors, which originally we had the IMDb listed in here, and they just like kind of threw everything, like threw names into a bucket and just kind of spilled them out everywhere. Takeru Sato is the titular Kenshin Himura. Yu Aoi is Megumi Takani. Emi Takei is Kaoru Kamiya. Teruya Kagawa, I almost made it through, goddammit, is Kanryu Takeda. Yosuke Akuji is Saito Hajime. And Muraketa Aoki is Sanosuke Sagora. Trivia. This is based on the Rurouni Kenshin manga.
I just copied and pasted everything from IMDb in, all right?
Through Gain, the masked henchman of Kanryu, though Gain, the masked henchman of Kanryu, is based off the character with the same name from the manga. He is much more in common with the Hanya from the manga. Gain is heavily scarred and works as Kanryu's messenger, like Hanya, while his outfit, personality, and wire work is more in line with Gain from the manga. His mask combination of both Gain and manga Hanya's mask. Neither of them use guns or wakizashi in the manga, however. Spoiler: in the original series, Sosuke's man of the sword is destroyed by Kenshin in the opening fight between them. But in this film, Sosuke just leaves it in the yard.
I love this. Is just dripping with so much unenthusiasm. I love it.
He kicked it into a bunch of guys and just left it there.
Well, I mean, they were going into close quarters. There's not a whole lot you can do with a sword like that inside.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah, it was a brawler scene.
He did a thing, I guess. Literally what that was.
All right. You know what money can't buy? What you're begging for right now. Your life. These are quotes, by the way, for those who don't know.
Yeah, I thought you were just looking it up.
Dale, do you want to be Karu?
I'm just gonna sit here and be awkward until somebody says something else.
Something else. Moving on.
Something else. I'm not gonna be playing a character today, thanks though.
No one? Okay.
Oh, you're Kaoru. Be my
All right.
Kaoru.
I'll be your Karu. Yes.
Get that high-pitched voice going.
Kenshin, don't! Don't become a manslayer again. Please don't kill him, Kenshin.
Just as good as the English voice work.
For those who died by your
Don't even, Josh. Don't you fucking dare. The dub is great. No. The dub is great. Don't you fucking dare.
Raul Gaza, ladies and gentlemen, this is MVP. Go for it.
Standing applause.
I can't believe I do use that voice.
It's okay, Raul. The lozenges are in the mail.
Hi.
I had to buy some bulk after CJ's recent episode of the Kairos.
I'm gonna play this game now.
And then the dev comes in and is like, oh, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, I know.
Firewall on that airship.
Yeah, he's in character. Oh, okay. Blow that up, blow that up, blow that up, blow that up.
Oh, it's a character. Okay,
Welcome home, Kenshin.
I am. All right.
That I am right now.
That I am. Yeah.
That I am.
Nope.
No, that's not it.
Don't translate speech tics.
Yeah, sure you do.
Home, I am that.
Believe it. You should not translate speech tics.
Yeah, sure.
Say that to Siri.
If you're going to translate them, at least translate them well.
It added a flavor to Kenshin that didn't doesn't. That's one of the few things that doesn't translate well over into this. Like speech tics don't necessarily translate well. I think I loved what they did within the
So
and the.
what's
yeah,
the?
anime. So, oh, go ahead.
What's the Japanese speech tick that he has?
Deigozaru.
Oh, okay.
A lot of his sentences, if you watch it subtitled, and I highly recommend you do, just because one of the things that is best about this movie is Sato Takeru's performance. And it's you can hear it on the ends of sentences when he's in his more genteel form.
Yeah,
And
when he does his Yoda speech, is the Deigozaru.
It's a samurai way of speaking that is obviously not used anymore. It would be considered very antiquated today. But he's basically using highly formal samurai speech, because in Japan and in Japanese, the forms of verbs you use, the pronouns you use, your vocabulary, all of those things change based on your gender, your role in society, your class, your rank. And nowadays they still do that, but back then it was even more diversified. And the Deigozaru tick is specific to samurai.
So the anime of this, and I never really got into the sub too much because I didn't really like Kenshin's voice in the sub in the anime. The dub of this is one of my favorite anime of all time. So between that and you two, Josh and Carrie, talking this movie up, there was a real high bar to get across for me in this.
Okay.
and it was. And I knew coming into this strictly because it's a dub thing. Josh is going to talk shit about it, and he's wrong. It's okay, Josh. It's all right to be wrong.
You know, just remember the taste of those words on your mouth, because it's going to be coming right back at you.
I mean, again,
I can already tell what you're setting up for, and I will tell you preemptively, it's okay to be wrong.
So it's okay to be wrong that I fucking love this movie. Okay, bye. 0 out of 10. Worse than Sausage Party. I'm gonna Spider-Man Homecoming this. 0 out of 10. Worse than Sausage Party.
Now tell us how you really feel.
Let me get my clipboard here and kick back in my chair.
Yeah. So I blasted Dale, blasted Ro. I'm afraid to blast Rachel because she, is my wife.
You'd like to sleep tonight?
Beat your ass.
Josh Fire. I watch anime movies because I want to have dumb shit happen and the anime translate, and I didn't get that. It was too real. And now I'm gonna do the carry shot and just tell me to calm down and be nice.
Okay, no, here's your dumb shit. That fucking Hanya J-Rock ass motherfucker.
I love that guy in his stupid Voldemort
really
outfit. No, all right. So I actually really like this movie.
It's a good movie. I'll give you that.
It didn't capture me, like, except for Kenshin. It didn't capture me as much as the anime did. Kaoru felt very watered down and more like a woman than a badass than she felt like in the anime. But then again, it's been a while since I've seen the first arc, so I remember her being super good and super strong and a super, great person later in the anime. She may not have been that when she started, but I remember her being a really strong person. And this one, she was kind of a woman until the end.
Kaoru was very token girl, and you can see signs of where they're planning probably on her growing from. But my God, was she a damsel in this? I mean, she had some moments like where she actually stood up to Jine was really cool.
Yeah, and she never did the subservient look to Kenshin or anybody. So I'll give her that. But yeah, it was absolutely, hey, look, there's your damsel in distress. Go, samurai!
Now, that said, my God, Sato Takeru in this movie.
Yes. I am so stoked to see him as Hiro, the villain of Inuyashiki, the live action of that. And my God, that is a dark point. That is a very, very, very dark role, and I cannot wait to see how he performs it.
He's got the chops for it, is the thing.
Oh yeah, no, I don't doubt that. And you kind of saw that towards the end of this when he went full manslayer, but that is that's a Heath Ledger level dark role. So I want to see how he performs that, because it won't be on him if he screws it up. I don't think it'll be on the writers if they do weird things with it. But this is a villain that you have really good reason to hate, and it's an irredeemable villain.
So we're not talking about Kenshin anymore.
We'll get back to that.
We're talking about Sato Takeru's villain.
Yeah, I'm actually being on topic mostly.
I have faith in him. A little bit of background on Sato Takeru. He is a Kamen Rider alumnus. He played
him and Jine both, actually.
Oh, nice. I thought he kind of had a Kamen Rider look about him, but I don't know who he played.
He plays Skull in Double.
Okay. Sato Takeru played the lead in Kamen Rider Den-O. He played Ryotaro, the hero, who is a lovable, clumsy dork, basically.
He starts the series in a tree on his bike.
Yeah.
No explanation as to how exactly he got up there, but that is the level of bad luck this gentleman has in this series.
And over the course of the show, he ends up sharing his body with 5 different, basically, spirits, and they can take over and control him at will. And so he's playing 6 characters at once, and you watch him switch between them at the drop of a hat. And his expression changes, his posture changes, his body language changes, his speech patterns change. there's visual cues because it's a kids show when he switches, but you don't need them, and you see that translate over into Kamen Rider, or not Kamen Rider, into Kenshin, where he can be the cute little Oro Kenshin, and then immediately go super fucking dark.
Oh yeah. And like I said, I don't with that. If that's screwed up, I don't blame him because he obviously has the range and the ability to do it. I don't doubt that. If it's screwed up, I'm definitely going to blame direction and writing. So that's where I'm going to come on that one. This is the first thing that I've seen him in because I am with Kamen Rider how some people are with Doctor Who and just kind of go, yeah, they're bug superheroes sometimes.
If you ever decide you want to give it a chance, Josh and I can recommend you based on preferences.
Yeah, I would take on Kamen Rider before I take on Sentai, merely to piss off Josh.
Honestly, I see you more as a Kamen Rider person anyway, of the two.
Oh yeah, from the two that I know, yes, absolutely.
So Kamen Rider and Super Sentai, I mean, they're two different series that they destroyed. But like
they haven't destroyed Kamen Rider yet.
They tried once. That's how we got Masked Rider in the 90s.
I was gonna say, was that Big Bad Beetleborgs? Because that was ironically
Big Bad
amazing.
Beetleborgs is actually based on B Fighter Kabuto, which was a Metal Heroes series.
Oh, okay. No, but what I'm saying is that is that like for any like actor, like, oh yeah, I was on Kamen Rider like for a season or for.
Well, because see, the thing is, every season it's a different Kamen Rider.
Yeah.
So each story is unique, and so basically, when someone has been Kamen Rider, that's kind of like a launching point for them.
Oh, okay.
Like you'll actually see a lot with like, the Bleach live action movie that's coming out later this year. I think later this year
July,
has some Kamen Rider alumni in.
Hope so. I hope that is going to be good. I doubt it will be, but man, I hope it's going to be good.
Okay.
But yeah. Another interesting little point about Sato Takeru is he is actually a breakdancer. I cannot doubt that some of the stunts that Kenshin pulls in that movie are actually Sato Takeru.
Oh yeah, definitely. And like
in the end fight scene when he pulls that hand spin, that is more than likely 100% him.
From another, we have a with that, yeah, it's just like the way that it's held. Like it would be very hard for them to have a stunt double pull off those. So I mean, between that and his Kamen Rider, like I'm sure he's used to being yanked around on pulleys and wires and shit like that.
Oh, there was so many wires in this movie.
Oh yeah, like sometimes I could see them. Like
I mean, and there was a scene where they were literally drew him a wire and dragged him up to the roof. Like,
well, that was meant to be like that was the character.
It was meant to be like that. Yeah.
By the way, we have another Bushido, Bishojo.
There we go. I mean, Bushido is appropriate too.
Yes, we have another Bishojo contest winner. I said Bishojo right this time, but not contest. The fuck is wrong with you tonight?
Contest or contest?
Contest or content?
With
what concert? Do we have a concert?
With Kaoru?
Maybe.
Emi Takei, who plays Kaoru, is another Bishojo winner, which, if you remember correctly, basically labels her the most beautiful girl in Japan.
Okay. And then she can go to the concert.
Yes, that.
So remember how I was complaining about the costuming in Full Metal Alchemist?
Yeah.
It's so much better in this.
It is.
Oh my god, yes.
Like, obviously, it's very clearly anime inspired in places, and I'm not even going to get into friggin' J-Rock dude because he's his own special snowflake.
All of the shit, I almost called him a Jimpo Gatana.
They're whatchamacallit, their period.
It's anime inspired, but you can see people wearing this in a world.
Yeah.
It's not completely crazy like if there was a live action Yu-Gi-Oh, right?
Yeah, or like Ed Elric's hair.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Was that a real hair? Was that his real hair for Kenshin, or was that a wig?
I know that the top part was his real hair. Because it looks exactly like his real hair that he wore in Kamen Rider, but he may have had extensions for the ponytail.
So I'm upset, you guys, about this. One thing I am actually legitimately upset about: there's no Aoshi in this.
Oh yeah.
No Lord Aoshi, and that made me sad. The weird, like, frozen haired weird guy that they transposed the fake Batosai over was in Aoshi's spot, and it made me sad that it wasn't Aoshi.
Oh,
Also,
one thing that kind of annoyed me about all the villains.
oh, those guys were the best. I love the cronies.
Yeah, the cronies were fantastic. Like the dude that was behind Turtleface on when he was manning when he was manning the gun, that guy was amazing.
And here's the thing is because this movie uses color and texture and lighting and contrast so fucking well. Like when you see when Kenshin's been pulled out of jail and he's going to see Yamaguchi-san and he's all dirty and everything's all gritty, and then he walks into this room and there's like gold and these beautiful overlaid screens and everything's all shiny and fancy and clean. And then you get these yes men henchmen following Kandu around, and their fans are fluttering constantly. They're always in this state of like nervous fluttery tension, just waiting to leap onto his every move, and that translates really well into the constant motion of the fans. These guys are never sitting still.
Yeah,
they're always waiting for their chance to kiss up.
Well, this was
exactly
in a very anime way. Like nobody was ever sitting still in this. There was always movement and always interesting camera placements that sometimes were not great. The camera work on this was probably the weakest part of it.
But there were some gorgeous shots.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But most of them were just like mostly establishing shots. So, like once you started actually having camera, or like once you started having people in there, that's where it's sometimes, not all the time, sometimes started falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
I did like how they sprinkled in a little bit of Samurai X in there.
Well, Samurai X is a very it's an important part of Kenshin's backstory, and for a show, thank you, baby. For a show that is, for a movie that is meant to be an introductory point to people, like, you need to have some kind of backstory. You need to have some kind of thing from the Samurai X timeline in there. For those who don't know, Samurai X is Kenshin's time as Batosai the Manslayer. And that was the first bit of the movie when he, threw the sword down, and how that weird juxtaposition of fake Batosai / Aoshi wannabe guy was there. That made Aoshi's one of my favorite characters.
Well, yeah, because he evolved through the entire series.
Yeah, exactly. Like the rest of the mooks are gone, but Aoshi stays around. He becomes like he's always kind of there, and always like really an antagonist. Like he's never a good guy. He's always an antagonist. He's always a bad guy, and like he's really well done, and he doesn't exist.
Was this before they announced the other two movies, Josh?
I think that might be the case. Because there's 2 more movies.
Yeah, I know, and I'm gonna be. I need to borrow them from you guys before I go on my trip.
So that might be why, if they didn't think that, if they weren't sure if they were going to get a sequel, they might not have wanted to leave that plot thread hanging.
And that's fair. Is he in the other ones, or?
I honestly cannot remember.
Okay.
I don't think I've actually seen the 3rd movie. We've watched the 2nd.
Yeah, we've watched the 2nd. We've seen the first one like 4 or 5 times at this point.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm gonna have to borrow those 2 from you and rip them before I go on my trip.
Borrow the DVDs and play them in my DVD player.
Not gonna work.
DMCA is not a thing in that case. This is fair use, and I'm not reviewing.
I'm aware.
No reason to dance around this tale.
So what about Dale, who has never seen the anime?
What about Dale?
Yeah.
And so just repeating myself in the 3rd person.
Dale hated it because.
What about Dale?
What about Dale? It isn't fair. he doesn't speak Japanese and
Neither do
couldn't
I.
figure out the subtitles. Can't you see?
Okay, so you had subtitles once you.
I know. Once I turned them
literally
on,
have no excuse.
I had to
Don't you
turn
remember
them
to
on
hit the button
first.
for them?
You poor,
Yeah, I know.
you poor thing.
I worked so hard for those subtitles. Yes, if you press all the buttons, subtitles will appear on this episode too. Don't. That's 100% accurate.
Don't get
So-
more work for me, Dale.
That it is.
More
It's
work for
100% accurate that it is.
See, Raul, what you do is you just put subtitles in, but they're just nothing but this the entire time.
I mean,
Hello, my name is Dale. I'm Australian.
Hello,
That
this
I
is
am.
Water Buffalo. I heard you like subtitles.
my name is Water Buffalo, and I heard that you want me to subtitle your episodes. You want me to provide subtitles? The people don't understand what I'm saying, so I have to put text down there so people can read it. Do you see how that works? Literally explaining how subtitles work. What has my podcasting career come to? Anyway, so this movie, I liked this movie a decent amount. It is a good movie, a great movie. Like CJ said, some of the camera stuff was a little off in a lot of the fight sequences, I think, but I'm probably more forgiving in that case because it's a hustle and a tussle to get camera crews out of the way.
Yeah, and this was all real fight work. This wasn't shitty CGI.
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
this was
Yeah.
real
The
fighting.
fight scenes in this actually, okay. I was sitting coloring. I've had the day from hell. Our daughter has been sassafras, and our son has been a big dickweed today.
Mm.
Yay, summer vacation. So I'm literally sitting there with my coloring book and my gel pens, just coloring, looking up, listening, because I understand enough Japanese that I don't have to watch the whole thing and I can kind of get it. Not 100%, but the gist. So words that would keep me off, and I'd be like, huh, what's that? Get up, read. And then, the music.
Oh,
during the
yeah.
fight scene.
The
I
score.
looked up at one point, I'm like, CJ, I need the soundtrack.
I
Yeah,
haven't.
they
I
have not
can
been
get that
trying
to
to
you.
source the soundtrack. Okay, cool.
I might have to borrow that
Yeah.
from you. I need that soundtrack because
Yes,
the
you can-
music throughout the entire movie is just, even during fight scenes, it's that very. I don't want to say it's understated for the fight scenes because some of them it actually enhances the fight scene, but you're not so much listening to the music and this overdramatic bullshit. You're
Yeah, it
listening to
doesn't-
something that actually complements the grace of these battles that they're having because let's face it, when you're running around with a sword taller than you are and the music is playful and fun but still showing the seriousness of the situation, you kind of go, that really works.
And that comes back to the superb sound in this. Like, just outside of the score, just the sound design in this and the sound mixing. And I think to your point, Rachel, where it's not, I don't want to say it's muted, but it's definitely an undertone. And you could definitely hear dialogue. You can definitely hear the clinking of the swords, which is the name of my stage show coming soon. But
Dear
also,
Full Metal Alchemist, that's what metal sounds like. Sorry, Dale, continue.
no, I
It's not.
took the next line out of my mouth. Like, yeah, Full Metal Alchemist, even Death Note. This is what good sound mixing is, and I know it's an odd hang-up
Well-
that my two odd hang-ups on technical production is.
Well,
Color
I mean,
palettes.
we can say that Japan knows how to do samurai movies.
You think?
I mean,
Yeah,
you
but
would-
you would think they would know how to do Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah,
that's
and,
true. It was a Japanese movie. Sorry, Carrie.
Yeah, and that just goes to what Dale is saying, like how in Full Metal Alchemist, it threw us out of it because Al didn't make metal sounds. Ed's automail didn't make metal sounds. And in this, you hear the clinging and clanging of metal. You hear the ka-chunk of the sword when it's hitting the ground, off screen, mind you.
Yeah.
Right.
you hear the whooshing of the swords, but it's not distracting. It enhances your immersion into the movie, and then
Yeah.
you get the soundtrack and the score playing along with that.
When he's fighting the ninja with the guns, the little short sword that he's dodging, that just goes.
Ting, 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 ting. Yeah. And it's just, again, sound mixing for me personally is a huge. It's a make or break for most movies.
Yeah.
I feel like this movie, along with Full Metal Alchemist, I feel I could only review on a technical level. I can clearly tell if something's off plot wise. I can kind of go, and that's when I come here and go, hey, this seems out of order. Am I insane or am I not?
Yes.
But this movie, yes, but also, like, that didn't happen here. Everything kind of plot-wise kind of flowed. Yeah, it was 2 hours and 14 minutes.
Maybe a bit long. They could have cut a few things.
Touch long. Editing didn't seem to exist much, but in this case is kind of good because it fleshes out the movie to be this big piece. And someone correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm 100% sure I am. The other two movies, the idea of them probably came after this movie. It's not like they set out to do a trilogy beforehand, like Full Metal Alchemist wanted a sequel, which is a hilarious thing I've said all day. But you know what I mean? Like, they did the other two movies on top of this. It wasn't the original concept.
They wanted to make sure this one was great as a standalone.
Exactly. That's what I was.
Yeah, and that's the reason why it ended like it did with the "I'm home,"
honey, home I am.
Only the anime fans knowing that there's more.
Yeah.
And this could be like, this movie is like, okay, this is a cool movie. Let me go check out the manga it's based on. Oh, let me check out the anime.
Yeah.
Right, which I think there's how many seasons? But it's all on Netflix, so you've got
there's
that.
two that matter.
There's two that matter.
What is it? Is it the beginning and then the...
No, the beginning is at the end, and it's a great piece.
Yes, it is.
Kyoto
That's what we're playing in the
incident?
mid show because it's licensed only in Japan.
The whatchamacallit, the Shishio arc.
Yeah, the anime ends after the Shishio arc, no matter what they try and tell you otherwise.
Yeah.
There's like 40-something episodes after the Shishio arc. None of them matter.
Oh, that's Kenshin GT. That's not canon.
Kenshin GT.
Much like the previous incarnation of this show.
Because there's something about Christians. There's something about another
Wait,
sword master. Yes.
No, like you have Kenshin's complete arc. Like you have a very well done and well told arc with Kenshin, and then you have balls to the wall. Nothing makes sense. Like,
and a random divert about Christians for some reason.
Yeah,
because that's what anime likes to do.
Yeah,
See,
because they pick up on like, oh, Christians were persecuted because they were in Japan. Turn of the century.
Yeah,
because it was a very what is it? It's Buddhism, right?
Yes.
Buddhism and Shintoism.
Shintoism, that's the other one. Yeah, and the Japanese culture around that time, it was very
anti anything but Japan, really.
Yeah,
like,
they were very isolationist. Yeah,
that's the word I'm looking for. I could barely say. I can't say contest.
What was that
very
word?
It's ethnocentric.
Ethnocentric.
Oh, ethnocentric.
Ethnocentric.
And not to mention also that the heart of Shintoism is that basically everything around you, with the exception of certain things, has a soul. And so you treat everything around you with respect.
Yeah.
And for this Western religion to come in and say, no, none of that has a soul. The only God that matters is this one that I'm showing you way over here. To them, that's like heresy. So I can see how they wouldn't be too fond of that.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, just look at the two different ways the dojo is treated. You have the ruffians that just come in, drag their dirty shoes all over the place, and then in the middle of kicking all of their asses, Kenshin stops to take his shoes off and bow.
Yeah, because that's how you're supposed to enter a dojo. You're supposed to bow towards the front, right? Or towards the wherever the I don't want to say shrine, but
yeah, to basically like where the and every dojo or dojang has one, like the front of it where the teacher stands, there might be a sign. For mine, it was where the flags hung and the principles of the art hang up front there. And that's where you bow before stepping onto the floor, onto the mat, into the room, wherever it happens to be, because of different building configurations.
yeah, and like he just walks up there politely, bows, and then he proceeds to beat
Politely
everyone.
kicks all of their asses.
Yeah,
Politely kicks all of their
and
ass.
he beats like half of them with just bare hands.
Yep.
Which true samurais, yes, they were masters in hand-to-hand combat, the bow and the sword. It's just a lot of samurai movies show them just swords.
Yeah, the sword is highly romanticized, but they could fight with a spear, they could fight with a bow. They always had a wakizashi on them as a sidearm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, but like, yeah, they were very well-rounded warriors. And that warrior culture, yeah, they train from a young age with everything, because they have to be deadly with everything.
Even samurai women trained in the bow and spear. Because if you were a samurai wife while your husband was off fighting, you were responsible for keeping the house safe. Literally.
Yep. That's what kind of irritated me about Kaoru in this, is she is designed to be a strong person, and it just kind of falls flat. And that makes me very sad.
That is an understandable and not a misplaced concern.
And that's one thing, like, Rachel's probably working on schoolwork. I know she's working on travel stuff for Australia. So I'm going to talk a little bit for her until she tells me to shut up and let me talk for herself. This is what I got Rachel, and it was completely accidental. This is what I got Rachel addicted to anime on.
Between this and Fooly Cooly, but I basically started watching Fooly Cooly just to make you twitch.
Season 2 next month.
Fully Cooley and Inuyasha as well. But yeah, we didn't realize that Inuyasha at the time was bad. We do now, and now we like it ironically.
Okay,
as you do.
I do like that they did what they didn't do in Full Metal Alchemist. This movie did
act well, do action well.
Okay, no.
Tell the plot well.
Okay, the no killing, they made that the center point, and they made it that he was towards the end there, that he was fighting that urge.
Yeah, well, it's because he was going to kill for the woman he loved, and that was and you finally got to see the Kaoru that you love come through, that the fans love come through, with realizing that she is strong-willed enough to be able to break this horseshit spell that this wannabe Aoshi cast on her.
In the anime, doesn't
but it's
she
not sorcery.
I know it's not sorcery.
In the anime, doesn't she beat the crap out of Kenshin a couple of times?
Yeah, and she doesn't really she admittedly he's pulling his punches a lot in that, but yeah, she goes she takes him a couple of times, and towards later she's one of the ones who takes down alone one of the main bad guys of the not Oniwaban, the
Shinsengumi?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of in the anime, she kind of forces him as a reason to move in with her because he needs to help with repairs.
Yes.
Because he destroys that dojo in the anime.
Yeah, he do.
He does in the movie too.
Yeah, he do.
Messes it up quite well.
By the way, I love Yahiko's kid logic of, I'm cleaning this dojo. I'm going to start scrubbing the middle of the floor.
Yup. Yahiko was great in this. For a kid actor,
he's a better actor than the people in Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah, When he came on, I was a little frightened, like because Yahiko is. I mean, his character is designed to be obnoxious.
Which is really funny because he grows up to be one hell of a badass.
Did you guys read the most recent one, the one that came out this last year before we found out the mangaka's a jackass?
No.
Wait, the manga is still going?
No. Well, yes and no. It came back. And it's 15 years later, I think, or something like that. And Yahiko's all grown up, and I'm not gonna get too far into it, but Yahiko's all grown up, and it only got out like 6 issues before the mangaka got outed for being sexist even for Japanese standards. We'll go with that. And now it's like separate the art from the artist. Maybe I'm trying really hard to like
harder and harder. It turns out.
But yeah, there's one that comes after, and the people who you think are going to get together, and it's kind of rote for that one. And then like on the relationship level, like there's no surprises. There is no, what the fuck do you mean that Naruto married what's her face, and why the hell are what's her face and Shadow Dude together? What the hell is this?
What's her face getting around apparently. But my first introduction to that kid, I don't remember the name. I don't remember the name.
Yahiko.
Yes, Yahiko. My first introduction to him ever is going up to the place saying, "I'm an orphan, feed me, woman." Basically, my first introduction to this character.
That's actually pretty in character, Graham. Like that was done completely within his boundaries of a character. Like,
I know, and I know that's.
Wasn't he basically like, he's a little shit, but you have to love him anyway?
Yeah, that's entirely his thing.
But like, yeah, and he grew on me over the movie, which is nice. Otherwise, he came on screen and I literally let out an audible, oof.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about it, they rolled 3 characters into what's his name, Ginseng or Jin.
Ginseng.
For the irony of you misremembering something and calling it ginseng is not lost on me.
It wasn't lost on me either.
At least I admit that I'm a dumbass.
Also, the reason why I said they wrote 3 characters because they wrote in Aoshi, the actual guy he's based on. Or the middle one, and then the one that
the fake Batosai dude.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hashtag not a fan.
No, in fact, I'm not. And yeah, they wrapped up like 3 different characters into him. Like
So you guys, please tell me that you guys noticed the compensation shoes.
The heels. It's really hard to walk with one shoe. Well, if you weren't wearing a platform shoe that gave you 4 inches, you sure
Yep.
Oh, those were at least 6.
And that was the really beautiful thing is he was still coming up short even with those on.
Yeah.
Right?
He would have been
I
like
think-
4 foot.
That really was, and that was another one of those character metaphors for sure.
Jin-E.
Jin-E. Okay.
Jing-ning.
Ginseng, you know.
We can make that a command if you want. I don't know what we would use that for.
Because you have a very small man. He's very short, and he has to throw around money and power and a gigantic fucking gun to feel like a big man.
Yeah. Literally throw away money.
Throwing money away. Like, and I thought that too. I'm like, every fight sequence is complete when you throw money at it.
Oh, did you notice that the money was coming from the other side towards the end of the scene?
Yeah.
The wind caught it.
Totally.
So the other scene of him throwing money where they're in the hot pot place and Kenshin's just like, dude, you're being fucking rude. And he's just sitting there eating.
Yeah.
Like, would you want to be in the guy's face that took down 10 of your bodyguards? Like, here, take my money. I'm being rude to you. Hey, I'm going to step on your food.
Yes! Staring on the food is the dickest move ever.
Yeah.
Well, and it's especially disrespectful because that was food that was purchased for him as gratitude.
Yes.
Right.
So not only is he stepping on this food, but he is stepping on someone else's payment to him, basically.
Oh,
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
about a tight
Kaoru of all
restaurant.
people, like-
Holy crap.
With his outside shoes, no less.
Oh yeah.
No, but like that restaurant, talk about tight fitting.
I mean, it's a small town. Like
Yeah.
at least at the time. Like
I
this.
want to go to that restaurant.
Oh yeah.
It's like an awesome restaurant.
Get
My
that beef hot pot, yo.
whatchamacallit, my legs would fall asleep. Like,
Oh, at Boats we have a restaurant like that here. Actually,
Yes.
it's super tiny. But
I'm okay with this. Like so, my anxiety doesn't trigger unless like the three big ones are triggered. Like it's small quarters and it's super loud and there's a rude person, and then I'm just like I don't know how to handle this anymore.
that's all three at the vendor hall.
Yeah. Why do you think I stand in the corner?
Rude person nodding, like not guaranteed. Not.
I mean, I'm in Australia, so I have to assume there's always going to be a rude racist person slinging the C word around. From what Dale has told me.
So, in other great performances in this movie, Sanosuke.
Sanosuke was great.
Oh my
like
God.
he was
He
fantastic.
played the brawler perfectly.
You see, this is scenery here. Chomp, 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 nom, 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 nom.
This is good. Want some? I'm a vegetarian. Poor thing.
Poor thing.
How about this?
He did the sign of the cross on it too.
right.
Was it the
That
cross or
fight
just
scene
Yes, it was
is
the-
one of my favorites in the entire movie.
And Dale's hung up on that one, and I'm like, that's actually like that's where they're trying to bring in manga like flavor, like or anime
and
flavor. Like
Then he cracked a raw egg in his mouth.
that's a Japanese thing. Raw egg is everywhere in Japan.
And then he put one in his pocket for later.
Because you have to have Deus Ex Egina.
Eggina.
and there's like,
Chekhov's egg.
Joke's on you.
Yes, oh, Chekhov's egg. Such an egg. They're cheaper by the dozen too, I hear.
They are. Do you get egg stacks
and
too?
like, do you
I
want
love
to
it.
drink?
Just
It's
like-
like, yeah, they drink, cracks the egg, and it's like, all right, let's go. Puts his head through a wall a couple of times.
I know
Oh, yeah.
that's anime tropey though. Like I love that.
Yeah, and then the move where he makes him punch himself.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Yes.
it shows that he's just not a stupid brawler. You have to think while you're fighting.
You have to use your head.
Yeah. He said he does it literally and then figuratively, unlike backwards.
The fucking choreography. Like, I know we've talked about the fight scene before, but specifically the fight choreographers in this did such a good job.
Oh yeah.
I need to see more of this. Like coming into this movie, I was like, you know, we've seen a lot of movies like this, and I'm like, I came in with medium expectations, not knowing really what to expect. But then the fight sequences started. I'm like, I'm so glad that they've taken the time and the care. And I wrote down that, hey, in the name of the king and Uwe Boll, take lessons, take notes.
Right?
For the
kind
ninth
of
movie that you're planning.
I mean, okay, the fight scenes were good. The choreography, great. The music, the audio, little bit more character development. I mean, Kenshin got the most by far.
Because you had to. Yeah,
you
it's
did
literally
have to.
he's the titular character.
I
so
I
He is
know.
the movie.
We got a little bit of Megume's. Well, we got that was the secondary.
yeah,
Yeah, she
you
was
didn't
good.
get you didn't get much of Kaoru. You got more to Megumi than Kaoru. You got some Sanosuke. You didn't get his entire backstory, but I think that's later in the
Which
manga
is
anyway.
horrible. It is.
Oh yeah. Like you don't know why he's there after Kenshin, but like that, like I said, I think that comes in later anyway.
Because
Yeah,
in
But
the,
he got established.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He is definitely there, and you know who he is. And then when you finally get to figure out what he's about later, and I'm okay with that. And like I said, I'm fairly sure that happened later anyway. So
let's see. The
Speaking
bad
of characters-
guys, I guess they were. Would you call them your like stereotypical like burst
They're
mustache twinklers?
twirlers.
Twirlers?
Wait, Oh, I heard,
Mustache tickler.
I heard mustache twinkler.
I mean,
That's what I heard.
Kanu's concept is really historically accurate for that time period to be
Yeah.
smuggling opium and trying to build a weapons ring.
Yeah, because it was a young government. 10 years
Yeah.
after such a bloody wars.
Yeah, and opium in Asia in that time, thanks
Oh.
to England,
Yeah.
was a fucking monster.
Yeah, and that's how they were able to take over parts of China with opium.
Yep.
Hence why they
In
turned over
Iraq.
Hong Kong back in, what was it, early 2000s?
Yeah. Speaking of character development, Superman, take lessons. This is how you write a character that doesn't kill.
Right?
Right. And doesn't need to destroy $20 trillion worth of stuff.
Yeah. If we do this in here, it will cause trouble for the establishment. May I please ask you to step outside?
Right?
Politest Superman ever.
So I was a little sad at Saito in this until the end, and then I got to see the signature move of him, and I'm like, yes, anime bullshit.
Yeah. And they did keep that he is left-handed.
Yep. Yeah, that's important because that was actually a major thing in there. But outside of them not yelling their moves every time they used them, which made me a little sad until you got Senryu-san! Like,
yeah, because in the anime they explained the moves
yes,
quite a bit. Like Kenshin, the thing is that when you do a live action, you can't just do the cop out of doing the single straight line with the light flare, and then just
they spelled it out in this. Like, they had Kenshin running, they sped him up when they needed to speed him up, and they did the wire pulls. Like, they didn't do any the weird motion blurs or anything like that. Like
Kenshin using low kick and it being very super effective.
Yeah, you got to see every technique.
Skid in the group fight in front of
Right.
Alice.
Oh my god, that was wicked.
And him flipping off of the sword was really damn cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, I don't care if that's wire work. That is accurate.
Oh yeah.
And Wirework number 1 fits into the genre very, very well. Both the genre of anime movies and of samurai movies in general. And also, I will take Wirework over shitty CG any fucking day of the week.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
But the fact that you couldn't see the wires, that made me happy.
No, I saw him occasionally, and I'm not just talking about I'm not just talking about not Hanya.
Yeah, there was a few times where you
There's
can
a couple
really
times, but it wasn't so flippin' egregious that you're like, oh, really?
Oh, look,
Yeah,
there's the wires
right.
again.
Hey,
How
look,
magical.
Look, Peter Pan's flying with two things coming out of her side. What the fuck?
But what would have happened if they pulled the Full Metal Alchemist? Looking at you, because I know you're watching. Which
Full Metal Alchemist, you're watching.
I know you're watching. Take notes. But what would have happened to this movie if they did go down the CG path? It would have. I think for me personally, it would have lost all of
it would
its
have lost so much.
all of its charm at least.
Yeah, Kenshin is a swordsman. You
Yeah.
have to be able, to show every single technique. You can't pull a Dragon Ball Z where you're just showing a bunch of blurry moves and people are saying, "Oh, they're moving so fast." That doesn't translate. Doing CG and copping out isn't gonna work.
Yeah.
The whole point of Kenshin as badass is how fucking skilled he is with a sword.
Yeah.
And they showed that incredibly well.
Yeah. I think the most CG was probably Sanosuke's sword, right?
I don't think that was CG at all.
No, I think it was CG touch up at the very least. He's
There
probably
was
holding.
not a ton of it all in this.
Do you think it was just a?
I think it was just a prop.
You
Yeah.
think it was
The
just a
only
prop
CG I actively know of was Jine's eyes when they were doing specifically the Way of the Mind shit.
Okay,
There
because I
a
was
few
thinking he was
cosmetic
like just
touch-ups, but
like
that's alright.
so Sonosuke was just swinging around like a green giant sword, so they could just.
Or just a rock-looking motherfucking sword. Like,
Yeah,
And
it was
no, not
probably
Dwayne
made out of
Johnson.
like foam or aluminum or something like that, something really lightweight that he could actually swing around, but he still managed to swing it like it had serious heft.
yeah.
Probably,
Which is on the actor.
probably foam. I'm assuming. Well, maybe it was.
Yeah, I'm guessing foam.
Yeah.
You never know. To make the noises and to make it fully
Oh,
work.
and that's just Foley. Like, that's good Foley work with a company that actually gives a shit about Foley work, not, a giant multi-100-pound suit of armor hitting a wall and you hearing.
And I like that Kenshin actually talks sense into Sonosuke about like your skills is better than just a plain bodyguard.
Yeah.
You would sell your skills to that man,
right.
and you get that like very like visible. He's really running that through his head, and he's like, "God damn it, you're right."
This was a show. Everybody, go back to your dinner.
Yeah, dinner
Little
time.
entertainment for you.
Dinner and a show.
Tip your
think the
waitress,
statement
and
that-
I'll be here all week.
the statement that makes it with that whole conversation is, the implied you're wasting your talents if you take his money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because he is such a prideful character, he's like, shit.
Fuck.
And you could see that audible fuck go across his face like, fuck, he's right.
Yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't need to say it. You can hear the curse words being screamed from inside his head.
It like goes straight across his face. It's like streamlined color.
Just a marquee across his eyes.
Marquee, there we go. There's a word. Like bright flashing marquee of FUCKME.
Also, apropos of nothing, I just want to give a shout out to Saito's glorious pompadour.
Yes.
The pump was pretty good.
Runner up.
So Saito, like, being one of my favorite protagonists in this, like I said, he was a little underdeveloped in this, but not like egregiously so.
Well,
And they made him enough to be a badass. Like,
in the beginning, he was obsessed with Kenshin,
yeah.
and then he went back to like, okay, I'm a cop, I'm a part of the government, I'm holding up the peace.
Yeah. Yeah.
And here's this asshole I really want to fight again. God
Yep.
damn it.
Yeah, like you said, it was not as egregious as Kaoru, in my opinion, but like he could have used a little bit more screen time, but when he did, he was great. And on character, which was important, since that was something. If anything, like being on character is one thing that was lost in this movie.
Yeah, what's great is that they show him at the beginning just wanting the fight, and they show him as a police officer. As like, okay, I've changed. We were at a different moment in our lives back then.
Yeah.
And I've changed to where I uphold the law.
Well, and even Yamaguchi is like, yeah, you know what? We were enemies before, but at the end of the day, we both wanted to make this country a better place.
Yep.
Which is fair.
So was Kenshin on the other side of them?
Yeah, Kenshin was on the side of the new government, basically, or of what became the new government.
Okay.
Yeah, and they were of the old government.
Yeah. Kenshin basically, and you see a little bit of that in the flashbacks, the whole reason he agreed to become Batosai in the first place is because he's like, okay, well, if I kill this list of people, then all the innocent people in this country can actually live safe lives and not fear for their livelihoods every second of the day.
A quick bit of trivia from Samurai X. Kenshin's real name.
Did we get
this?
Huh?
Did we get that in this, or
No, we didn't. But I'm just saying. Do you remember what it was?
I don't remember what it was.
Bob from Bobbystand. Is it Bob from Bobbystand?
Yes.
It's I believe it was Shinta.
Shinta.
Born Shinta, yes.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
no,
because I
but
think
that's cool.
I
You know
think
that?
like in the later series in Kenshin GT, they go where he changes his name back because he's no longer because Himura Kenshin is the name that his master gives him.
Yeah, that was if they did go back, and I don't remember that because, like I said, nothing else exists after the Shishi arc. That was
Every
definitely
shit, man.
That was definitely overdone in the new manga. If that did exist, and like I said, if it did, I definitely have blocked it out of my memory.
Yeah. And they show Kenshin doing all the short styles of Hinton Mitsurugi.
Mitsurugi style.
Nikaruki.
Nikaruki.
I said it right.
That's a
You misheard
Nikaruki.
it.
I wanted no. Okay, so all right, Raul. I desperately want Fragul to have named styled attacks and him mess them up all the time.
Hey, Ralph, if it helps you
Upward,
feel any
down,
better.
slash. It's just a normal slash down.
You know what? That would still be better. You know.
I would.
Bear claw style. Didn't you call it hidden K style? Bear claw style.
Bear claw style.
But isn't your whole thing that you don't use your claws?
Yeah.
My favorite Queer Eye spin-off was Bear Claw style.
Oh.
They make over gay bears.
Bears from San Francisco.
Yes,
Yes.
they exist. I hear.
Hey,
moving on.
But yeah, it was. So that's the thing I want of Fragul, just yelling out attacks and them just being regular ass slashes, but him because he read in a book once that it sounded cool when samurai yell out their attack names before they use them.
What else?
In fact, Akira is absolutely going to teach him to do that.
Yeah, I mean, can Sylvia start doing that too? Entertainment in the skies.
No, everything has to be a different story. Like sparkling, ruby, flash. You have to go full Maho Shoujo on that. You have to go full magical girl on it. Like,
and he says ruby flash and it's an emerald.
Yeah.
Hey, how many ruffles can you put on one dress?
The answer to that question is all of them.
Hold on, challenge accepted.
You're asking a dangerous question there. You do
Akira,
realize
I
that.
need to stay up all night again. This woman needs ruffles. Ruffles. Yes.
Thank you for your layover at Manipool.
Yeah, someone send Ashley this clip, please.
Right?
Oh,
well, that was a good pit stop. We liked that pit
was.
stop. That was a good pit stop.
Hey, it was fun.
Gas station. Let's back on the highway.
Can we talk about that shot really quick of Kenshin killing all those guys and those cherry blossom petals are raining down?
Yes.
That was
Which
so
is
pretty.
also from the anime, right?
Yeah. Well, Sakura is always kind of.
Let's be fair. Swordsmanship and Sakura petals go hand in hand in Japanese culture.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't matter if there's not a blooming Sakura tree for 100 miles. Those goddamn petals will find their way.
It's gonna be someone just emptying out petals on a random window sill.
Yeah.
Things were so crucial. There was an anime that some of us grew up with called Ronin Warriors.
Oh my god!
Transformation made the petals themselves.
Yes,
because they're that crucial.
That needed. Yes, absolutely. Running Warriors was so fucking good.
What was interesting, I was gonna bring this up earlier, but I saw this anime. They was also airing Trigun on Adult Swim.
Yeah,
but they showed Rurouni Kenshin in the middle of the afternoon, which is probably a little bit more violent than Trigun.
Just a wee bit.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that they didn't go overboard with the gore in this, by the way. Like, people bleed when they get cut, but it wasn't excessive.
But
Yeah.
It wasn't Death Note level.
Yeah, it wasn't Death Note or it wasn't Kill Bill level, right?
It was still a bit. I think.
Oh, a bit is fine, but it's
Here's
not.
the thing: when someone's carotid artery gets cut, yeah, there's gonna be blood spraying everywhere. That's
Yeah,
just anatomy.
My point was that there was a bit, but it didn't seem too over the top. There was a bit.
No, it was
for my
appropriate
liking,
for
but-
the injuries being afflicted.
Right.
It wasn't,
Right.
Death Note watermelon decapitation.
Yeah, it was to show the gravitas of what was being inflicted on these people, not oh, look at all the blood.
Blood.
I mean,
blood.
You got a guy so obsessed with killing, he makes a fucking bitch kebab.
Right, a bitch.
Oh yeah, also the double suplex.
Yeah.
Sanosuke's double suplex.
Bitch kebab and the watermelon decapitation. You can get that at the meal deal at the restaurant that they were eating at.
Yeah, like I love Sanosuke just over the top being like, yep, I'm gonna punch this dude real hard a bunch of times. Like, and then do wrestling moves on him because fuck you, that's why.
It's a brawler
all of
scene.
that.
And that's why I loved that particular fight sequence so much. Was like, yeah, as much as I love the over-the-top ridiculousness of the Zanbato, watching Sanosuke get to do his fisticuffs with a guy who was equally as crazy about going to fisticuffs with someone was fantastic.
Oh yeah,
It's like-
absolutely.
That scene was a shining example of the very Japanese martial arts principle of real men speak with their fists.
Yeah.
Those guys were having an in-depth conversation.
And then chicken.
What's up? What's good? I'm a vegetarian. Or thing. How about this? Gimme.
Yeah, gimme.
Now I'm gonna crack an egg in my mouth.
No, I love that. Just like, but like, it was also that anime trope of, hey, we have to fight each other because you're doing bad
Because we're
things.
enemies.
But we don't necessarily have to, honestly, we don't have to always be trying to just murder each other 100% of the time. Sometimes it's just, hey, we can do this in a second. I found some booze. You want some?
Yeah, there's that, and also
There was that level of mutual respect
Yes.
at that point in the fight. It's like, hey, you're being paid to keep this guy safe. I'm here to kick this guy's ass. I don't personally have any quarrel with you, but I'm going to kick your ass anyways. Oh, hey, there's food and booze in here. Give me a second. Sure thing. I'll have some of the booze. Are we good? Yeah, we're good. Psych yourself back up and go.
Yeah.
And then punch your head through a wall.
yes, and get coated in flour or whatever they were coated in from running
Yeah, that was
around.
flour.
It was
was
definitely flour.
Yeah, it was a kitchen, so they were using whatever was to hand to beat each other's asses.
Definitely wasn't sugar because that doesn't, and it's granular too, so it
Coat
would have
like
been
that, yeah.
That was
Yeah.
flour.
Yeah, absolutely flour.
Death's coated in flour.
I love the reaction there where it goes everywhere and they're both kind of like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like, that was interesting. Okay.
All right, didn't know we could do that.
And also them actually hearing the gunshots from the other room.
Yeah, and then like Sanosuke, like, Kenshin, you okay, buddy? You all right? Oh crap!
And like
Crap,
the
I'm back
fact
in the
that
fight.
so seamlessly transition between those two fights. Because if you notice, when he starts firing off those guns is when Sanosuke gets blown through the door.
Yeah,
Like those sound effects are lined up perfectly. And it's
Right.
like, that is a beautiful transition.
oh yeah, definitely. When I mentioned earlier about camera work and but like, there was definitely thematic dissonance between non-fight choreography camera work and then the fight choreography camera work. Like, and I get it. You're watching a fucking samurai movie based on an anime. The fight camera work needs to be a lot better and a lot more on point than walking through town camera work.
But they could have
Right.
pulled the walking through town cam work up a little.
Yes, and sometimes up a lot. But like it was never like actively angering me. It's just something that I noticed, and it took me out of it a little bit, but never like to a point where I was
Checked out.
upset at it. Yeah, it never took me out of it. Well, it took me out of it a couple times, but not like
Completely.
yeah,
But
it
then
never
you-
ruined it for me.
But then you get shots
it.
where Kenshin is hesitating as he's about to kill Jine, and the shots on his expression, like the camera work on his expression there and his posture,
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Yes, absolutely.
And that scene, it really highlights his performance as well, because you can watch him go from Hitokiri Batosai to tired as fuck and just wants to go home, Kenshin.
Yeah, I just want to go and bang my woman and just deal with this.
Yeah,
Not
he
the
just
same
wants at that point he just wants a hug.
Yeah, I just want a hug and maybe some tea.
Also, Josh points out that Kaoru couldn't breathe for a couple minutes. Kenshin got stabbed multiple times, and guess who's carrying who?
Right.
Because he gets
Because-
stabbed in the gut and then stabbed in the shoulder, right?
Yeah, like he got fucked up. Gina, whatever the fuck his name is, I don't know. I don't freaking not Aoshi. This angered me more than fucking Scar not being in Full Metal Alchemist. Because everything else is great. Did you replace Aoshi, one of the most pinnacle characters of this entire series, with Frosted Tips McGee?
Right.
My guess is that they just didn't have time to do him justice, and didn't think they were gonna get the other movies.
Yeah, maybe. Frosted.
And that's okay. That's all right.
Yeah, because Gine, by the way, was pretty much taken out like I think 2 episodes in the anime, maybe just 1. Like he may have been out in 1 and then came back later for for a filler episode, but I'm fairly sure he was out in 1 in the anime. And yeah, never made a this person's important, said no one ever.
Right.
He was the Raditz of Rurouni Kenshin. Should have been a lot more important than he actually was. So should we take a break, y'all? We've been going at this for about an hour.
Yeah. I don't know what to
Should we take
say.
a break or should we just go straight into the?
I say we just go straight through.
Oh, but I wanted to play the music.
We're gonna take a break. We got time.
Yeah, you should go for an hour and a half, or just over an hour.
Look at all this room we have. So much room. Plus, any chance we get away with playing licensed music, we can.
Yeah, because
Just do it away.
Only licensed in Japan. Asterisk.
Only licensed in Japan. Yeah, sorry, I should.
I actually did my research on this one. It only exists in licensure in Japan. So I'm gonna play the outro of this movie because I fucking love
Real
it.
damn good.
Really good.
So I am gonna play One OK Rocks, the beginning, which took place at the end of this movie. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. Podcast listeners, check out our sponsors. Love them. We love them. Then if you want an ad-free experience, I'll talk about that later. All right, we'll see you in a couple minutes.
Just give me a reason to keep my heart beating. Don't worry, it's safe right here in my arms. As the world falls apart around us, all we can do is hold on. Hold on. Take my hand and bring me back. Yeah. I risk everything if it's for you. I whisper into the night, telling me it's not my time and don't give up. I've never stood up before this time. Demo use and I will know. The Kitako no te wa hanasanai. So stand up, stand up. Just gotta keep it wanna wake up, wake up. Tell me how we can never give up. Couldn't shake it, but I said it's not. Just tell me what it is. They might call me crazy for saying I fight until there is no more. Lady of good, and Kogan Korakan, got that shadow blinded. I can see the end. So where do I begin? てるだけ I take a chance that I make you mine ただ隠せないものざっとより見せかけて So stand up, stand up Just gotta keep it wanna wake up, wake up Just tell me how we can never give up 悲しみと切なさ Just carry her reason To keep life beating Don't worry, it's safe right here in my arms 砕けてない手先したこの想いは So blinded I can't see the end Look how far we've made it Pain I can't escape it このままじゃまだ終わらせることはできないでしょ何度くたばりそうでも口当てようとも終わりはないさ So where do I begin? 握りしめた失わぬようにと手を広げればこぼれ落ちそうで失うものなどなかった日々の惰性を捨てて Just tell me why baby They might got me crazy For saying like what is there is no more See the end. Look how far we've made it. I can't escape it. Escape it. 邪魔のわせことはできないでしょなんだりすぎて果てようとの終わりはないさ Finally begins
Dude,
God damn, I love that song.
fucking song is so goddamn good. Like, I'm listening to it, and as the outro is coming on, I'm talking to Rachel about the movie, and like I keep getting distracted about just listening to the song. All right, so I'm like, I'm gonna do this on purpose. Hey Siri, what's this song? And like,
And for the record, he could not do it because his headset was still
headset was still on.
So he's sitting with his phone, getting angry, and I take my phone out and I went like that with it.
I damn near threw my phone because I really needed to know what the fuck this song was, and I have since listened to it about 13 times. Like,
that's about right. And the great thing is, look up more of their music. It's all that good.
Yeah, I'm following them on Spotify. You have things like Change, which sounds like a little bit like this.
Chains.
That.
Why'd you keep me together? Feeling it. Kinda. I was close.
It's what we did last week with Deadpool. Just, you know.
Right. Well, I was close. I was lyrics were.
Yeah, Dale singing on there now. That makes me happy.
Then their rap song was amazing too, but I won't sing that on air. I knew that's what you were queuing up.
Damn.
Yes.
Oh, all right, you guys. So this is the second half of the show where we Tito this up. For those who don't know, it's our obligatory 1 to 10 scale that everybody has, but ours is a little bit different just because it's called Tito's and not stars.
Wait, people give out 10 stars?
Yeah, there's I mean, depending on what it is, like there's 10 stars, 10 sacks of bologna, 10
points.
10 points.
10 giant robots.
9 stars.
Handmaids of milking. You know, there's lots of them. Ours
Okay,
is different.
we need to come up with like the Geek I/O 12 Days of Christmas.
5 golden Tito's.
That.
Oh my god.
Oh man. All right. So I'm gonna start. Like I said, there's a real high bar coming into this. Rurouni Kenshin, one of the few mangas that I have read beginning to end.
I think you're the
Sorry.
only one that
Yes.
went for the hard
Yes.
bars, CJ.
Yes, Carrie, and a duck stepped in a palm tree.
I was trying not to derail it, which is why I put it in chat and didn't say it out loud.
Nope.
Nope.
Nope. Thanks, Dale. I appreciate it.
I'm
Thank
making
you.
the doc right now.
But it has to be said so that way it can become a show title.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, like I said, there was a high bar coming into this movie. Rurouni Kenshin, I read the manga from beginning to end. The anime is one of my favorite things that I have ever watched. It's one of the first things that my wife and I watched together. Like, it holds a very, very deep part of me. And there was no possible way this movie would meet my expectations. And I knew that. But by knowing that, it met most of them. It was functional. It told the story well. You knew the characters. Most of the characters. You knew the characters that mattered. You had a coherent beginning, middle, and an end without and they'll be back next time with their wacky shenanigans.
I don't know what that voice
Now I
was.
have a new outro stinger for everything ever.
You're welcome. And you didn't have any of that. You had a fully told story. And I appreciate that. I like that a lot. It missed the mark on some of the characters pretty egregiously. And then it didn't include some of the characters. It didn't matter any of the Oniwaban group. They don't matter except for Aoshi. He's literally the only one that matters. And you replaced him with Frosted Tips McGee. Fuck that guy. It was very well. It was very, very well done. Technical flaws, yes. But those aside, obviously, even if I hated this movie, I would have recommended it. So, I mean, there's a minimum of 5. I'm going to give it an 8. It was really well done. It had some stumbles, and some stumbles fall on their faces. But when they fell on their faces, they did an awesome slide and then kicked up off of a sword and got back up. So yeah, an 8. Rachel.
8.
I agree with CJ as much as it pains me to actually say I agree with CJ.
Thanks.
That's your new text tone, though, CJ.
Right.
It pains me. But I
The
agree
first
with
part, not the second part. Love you, Rachel.
No, you're good. CJ says he went into this with high expectations. After all the other animes that he's made us watch this month, I went in with
none
prayers.
We were this close from watching Dragon Ball Evolution.
Thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers.
About a foot away from watching Dragon Ball Evolution.
Yes.
But no, CJ's right in the fact that this was one of the first animes that I actually sat down and watched from beginning to end with him. And it was one of those, please don't screw one of my favorite animes. And perfect? No. Good? Yes. I went in with 0 expectations, just the hopes that they weren't going to kill it. They didn't kill it. They did it a whole lot of justice for me. Like CJ said, it wasn't perfect, But if somebody said, should I watch it? Is it any good? It's worth a watch. The occasional line, like chord for the action sequences, didn't break it for me, thankfully. The music that they put in the scenes, even if just the quiet background music, it accentuated the situations that were going on. It didn't overshadow them. It didn't take away from them. It didn't make you go, huh? When they were having battle music, it fit. And the differentiation between the different sides of Kenshin made me happy. It wasn't just solid one face the whole time. It was all the aspects of him that is not easy to pull off. Would I watch it again? Yeah. Probably would pay more attention to it than I did because of the day that I had. Definitely. The coloring was put down about a quarter of the way through because I was like, okay, I'll watch. And for me to put down coloring is after a shitty day is pretty epic. So I'm going to sit with CJ. I'm going to give it an 8, but I'm going to give it an 8.5 because I enjoyed it that much. I really, truly did.
All right.
And Dan.
Hi. I exist. Just switching tabs. So I don't watch a lot of anime. I don't know why I'm talking through my teeth. So I knew this was based on an anime, and that's about all I knew going into this.
Review it how you saw it.
Okay, let's review it how I saw it. It was pictures and it was noise, so it passed with flying colors. Bad jokes. So it definitely was a good movie, and piggybacking on Rachel's point of after all of the crap anime live action movies that we've watched this month, and yes, I know I give Dave Death Note the far and away best score, and looking back on that now, half of that is because I enjoy Final Destination, like actually, not ironically.
No, you can't like Final Destination, not ironically. It's physically impossible.
I enjoy the Final Destination movies for what they were.
And that's ironic.
So I like the ironic thing, not ironically. Anyway. So it was definitely a solid movie. This movie definitely had its flaws, but again, it was a redemption movie, and I think told in that sort of style and through the techniques that they used as well, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's, this samurai story, and they kind of produced it like that. It's not like, again, not like Death Note. It's an anime movie that they produced it like Final Destination. I know I keep harping back on that one, but that's just more of a stylistic thing. The camera work in parts was a bit hit and miss. The walk through town stuff was fine enough, but some of the fighting one took me out of it. The sound mixing on this was something to behold, and I don't know if this won like awards for sound editing and sound design, but it definitely should. Like, most definitely it should deserve some sort of accolades in that department, because, and for me, a person who has been working with audio for such a long time, that is very important to get off on the right foot. I mean, it's half the elements, you've got the visual and you've got the audio, and sometimes people favor one over the other. This one handled the management of both of them expertly, at least to my standards. I'm not going to give it a highest score as everyone else, mainly because I don't know a lot of the backstory on it. I could follow what was going on, but I think it would have been a better enriching story if I knew where this had come from. And I think I might have to actually check out the anime itself, to be honest.
It's on Netflix, at least in the US.
It's on the Australian Netflix as well.
Yeah, it's definitely worth watch. Like it's real good.
If anything else, just the first season.
Yeah.
With that, I'm just trying to think if I have anything else. I don't think I do. Yeah, it's the type of movie, so I can't really comment on the goriness of it and that too much. So with that, I'm going to give it a 7.5.
All right. That brings us to Raul.
Okay, so
Worse than Sausage Party, rage quitted 9 times.
Yeah, how far on worse than Sausage Party is this for you?
This movie is actually better than Sausage Party.
By the way, podcast listeners, I'm half tempted to put a commercial break there, just to dramatic effect.
Oh.
I wouldn't do that.
So Japanese samurai movie, good. Had a little bit of the anime sprinkled in for like your silliness of it. But it was mostly in tune with the style of movie they were going for. The costume design was of the period appropriate, but it's still, you knew who certain characters were compared to their anime counterpart. How they explained how Kenshin got his iconic red, what's it called?
Kimono.
Cross-stitch scarf.
Kimono, yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Kimono.
Sorry, kimono.
Yeah. It's actually Karu's father when he was younger, because when he's older, he's a big guy. Sound design, characters could have used a little bit more work, but I know it's 2 hours and you've got like 6-7 characters you gotta get through. The henchmen were good. The little fan, it got annoying a little bit, but it's what they do. The Gatling gun scene when it's like you finally get to see the is it Sato's?
Yeah.
Yeah. That signature move. I like that they I didn't like that they didn't, like in the anime they would describe certain moves. They would like break them down sometimes. Like, oh, he's doing it this way, or it's like, oh, it's this technique, and this is, which is traditional for a lot of anime. They'll break down techniques and all that. Hunter x Hunter is famous for doing that.
Hunter x Hunter is infamous for that. Like it kills it sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially for like a manga format where you don't get to see the technique in motion. They have to describe it.
True. Kind of wish they did have the
Oniwaban, yeah.
Yeah, Waban group. I kind of wish, because that shows how they kind of jam up the Gatling gun that way.
Yep.
Because they all sacrifice themselves to help Kenshin. I did like how Megumi was like, oh yeah, I came back, but I didn't come back to help you. I came back to kill you. And she got caught monologuing there for a bit.
Oh yeah.
Well, I love how all the henchmen are just standing around and watching her too. Like no one's bothering to stop her. They're just letting her rant.
Everybody hates him.
Yeah, and then Sato holds true that, I mean, his character, what little development we got, he came from a bloodthirsty soldier to an actual working with the government.
Yep.
Trying to uphold the law, because he knows a 10-year-old government is very fragile.
Yeah.
And like the main bad guy, he just wanted to take over the newly created government. Oh, I'm going to kill all these people with this brand new opium. And I don't care. I need this one. Oh, and we didn't discuss how much of a douchebag he was that he poisoned the drinking water.
Yeah.
Right?
Someone's poisoned the watering hole.
And I'm like, that's convenient, I guess. I mean, it fits, but boy, convenient.
Well, he explains it. He's trying to clear that area out to make a harbor for ships to export the opium.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah,
Yeah, the whole
it's all-
reason he's doing it because certain businesses, including the dojo, are not selling to him.
Yeah.
That's what that map was. All the red highlighter was things he already owned.
Okay.
And they made it very clear. This
Dale,
is the
pay
bad guy.
attention to the subtitles.
They made it very clear from the beginning. This is the bad guy.
Oh yeah.
And all
No, I
these-
knew. I knew he was the bad guy. I did
Well, no,
watch
They,
this movie.
No. But
Yeah,
they
people
make it
treat me
very,
like I don't
very
watch the
clear
movie.
that this is the douchebag. This is the guy that we all have to hate.
Get your Rotten Tomatoes ready.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
even his theme music was oily.
Ugh.
Like
It was
that music
supposed to
started
be
playing,
that.
it's like, oh, this guy's a scumbag.
That glass is pouring though on that entire group.
So yeah, I'm going to go with the jazz. Would I recommend it to someone? Yeah, because it didn't have the goofiness of the anime, which I kind of missed. Which I know that's why some people watch the live action, because they want to see the goofiness of the anime translated. I'm going to give it a 7.5.
Whoa.
Not
All right.
not amazing, but it was a good movie.
All right, Carrie.
So, live action anime adaptations. Some movies, like Full Metal Alchemist, try to basically look like you drew a picture and it came to life. And that goes a little bit like it's hard to get into the world because everything looks so fake. Some, like Death Note, diverge so far from the source material and then throw random shit in from left field that you're wondering what the fuck you're supposed to be watching or why any of this is supposed to be related to the series whatsoever. And then you have Rurouni Kenshin, which for me kind of hits that sweet spot. It's divorced enough from the anime aesthetic that you can actually consume it as a live action movie, but you still get influence of the anime, and it's spread evenly throughout, except for J-Rock Dude. He's his own thing.
Yeah.
Was I entertained? Fuck yes. This is one of my favorite movies. There's a reason I have watched it multiple times. Would I recommend it to somebody? I would not shut up about it when we were talking about anime, so obviously that's a yes.
She's not lying.
I know.
Hey, I own up to that. I admit that.
Good pick. Solid pick.
No, it's not a perfect movie, but it is a solid movie. It does trip up in the treatment of female characters. Kaoru, who grows into a really strong character, is basically reduced to a damsel. And a quasi-okay, but sometimes annoying one at that. Like when she does things she really should know better than if she's actually a martial arts instructor.
Yeah.
Megami, I do like how they treated Megami for the most part. She does not take shit from anybody. She is shown to be completely and utterly capable. I don't like that she had to be rescued at the end of the movie, but I like that it was because of a choice she made on her own terms and she knew the consequences for it. She didn't get captured. She chose to go and kill that guy, and she knew she was going to die for it.
Yeah.
So that reduces the damseling somewhat in my eyes. Like, she was owning her choices there. She knew exactly what was going to happen. And hey, it's a bonus. She lived. So hopefully we'll get to see more of Kaoru being awesome later, because I honestly do not remember much about the second movie. I've only seen it the one time. But all in all, the music, the costuming, I cannot talk enough about Takeru's performance because he did an amazing job, and he is one of the reasons I keep watching that movie and over again, just because I love watching him perform. He definitely stole the show, and a lot of the development that Kenshin got, yeah, a lot of it was in the writing, but the vast majority of it was in the nuance of his performance. That's how Kenshin stole the show from every other character. And fuck it, I love this movie. I'm gonna give it a 9.
All right.
Nice.
And Josh.
That's a me. Yeah. I was also on the boat
Right.
about watching this movie. Because, you know, this whole anime thing was partly my fault. At least the pun. The pun is wholly my fault, as are most of them. But when I heard that this movie was being made in the first place, it's like, okay, it's Japan making a samurai movie. It can't be too bad. And then I started getting the casting and hearing that, you know, Sato Takeru was cast as Kenshin. And I'm like, oh shit, this is going to be legit good. Because like I know the man's acting chops. I watched an entire year's worth of a televised series that every episode showcased the depth and scope of this man's acting talent. And yeah, he did kind of steal the entire movie from the other characters, but I can't be angry about that because he was one of the primary reasons I wanted to see the movie in the first place.
Same.
I'm not in the same boat as Rachel and CJ to where Rurouni Kenshin was one of my holy grail series. It was a casual watch for me. I haven't seen it all the way through. And frankly, one of the reasons I couldn't really get into it was just how disjointing the dub of it was. Like, I could not stand the blah, blah, blah that I am. It's like, what the fuck kind of speech pattern? Does he think he's Yoda? Like, what are they going for here? It doesn't make any sense.
Mm.
And like, I couldn't like the character because of that. Like, the fight sequences were great. Watching Kenshin kick somebody's ass with an umbrella was hilarious. Because it's an umbrella.
Get under their umbrella. That's a joke.
But
no, it's
you know, it was still something that I knew was, you know, either going to be very hit or miss because of the nature of trying to take something animated into a live action respect. But once I started, you know, getting more info on it, like the casting and who is handling it and things like that, it's like, this is going to be real good. And when we finally saw the movie for the first time, it's like, this is fucking amazing. Like, it tones down the anime a little bit to the point where you can enjoy it as basically like a period drama.
Yeah.
Like, outside of a couple of aspects, like, this could have happened. A few things are a little larger than life, but you get that when dealing with the past. You know, history is written by the victors. Some things get glorified, some things get swept under the rug, but there, you know, very well could have been this one lone assassin who single-handedly changed the course of a war. It's believable in that regard. And but there was so much to love about this movie, and it was so entertaining and so well handled that I didn't even notice the little slip-ups, like, you know, Kaoru's slightly lackluster character, like the fact that, you know, Jine didn't even exist in that regard. Like, I didn't care because it was being so well done. I didn't notice any wires. I'm just sitting there watching Kenshin be a badass. And yeah, it's not a perfect movie, but it's a real damn good one. So it gets a 9.5.
Nice.
Wow.
Wow.
Like I said, it's not flawless, but I've been looking forward to this all month.
What does that give us for our average there, Dale?
From what I believe, I need to re-add those numbers up. Actually, that could be right. 8.33.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that.
Oh, right.
Just talking to the judges now. They're in my ear. They're nibbling in my ear. No, that's worms. I should go get that checked.
They have drops for that now.
Yes, 8.33 on that note.
All right, folks. So that will wrap up AniMAY for May.
With a good adaptation for once.
Hey, I didn't know Full Metal Alchemist was going to be that bad.
I know.
I
know.
don't think any of us did.
That was not a shot at you, CJ.
I made us watch Death Note fully knowing what Death Note was. I was not anticipating Full Metal Alchemist to be.
We knew Death Note was going to be a hot pile of shit because Taco Lady watched it when it first came out, and I caught snippets of it in passing, and it was very much a what the fuck is this?
Yes. Yeah. Like I said, we were 1 foot away from watching Dragon Ball Evolution. The only reason why Death Note existed instead of Dragon Ball Evolution is because Death Note's a hell of a lot easier to get a hold of. And I am not going to spend money on Dragon Ball Evolution.
But if we hadn't had 2 Marvel movies come out this month,
probably, yeah.
Probably.
if all was happening, yes, it would absolutely.
No, we would have. Oh no, we would have seen Solo instead for the show. That would have been a romp through time.
You can listen to the show live Thursdays at 10 p.m. Eastern.
CJ, I have been doing the show for way too long.
12 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time on Friday at twitch.tv/GeekIO show. If you want to get in touch with us, you can do so. Show at geekio.net.
Even changed in the notes.
Twitter. I've been doing the show for far too long, and I memorized my own script, and I changed my email address because I got in my own head that I needed a proper email for this show. Twitter and Facebook are all /GeekIO show. You can give us a call, leave us a voicemail, 727-489-4335. That is 727-489-GEEK. You can chat with us live by going over to our Discord by going to geek-io.net/Discord. And remember, you can support this stream and everything that we do on the Geek I Network by heading over to patreon.com/geekio. There you can get access to patron-exclusive Discord things and influence the shows that you love to listen to, and more, like a master RSS feed and all sorts of good stuff. And when we start getting people in there that are, innumerable people in there, we'll do giveaways and such like that. Not giveaways.
Innumerable?
Numerable. It's a word. Look it up.
Don't at me, bro.
Yeah, don't at me, bro.
I just said bro on the air.
Hey, CJ, guess what?
Yeah. Hey, Raul.
The prisoners are going to run the asylum next week.
Yeah, this worked out so well for me when I was in Boston at PAX.
It worked out exceptionally. What are you talking about? Exceptionally.
CJ
I've already
is
got a
not
game for
here next week. The minions decide the fun.
Yeah, Rachel and I are taking the month of June off. And yeah.
Oh, no. We'll still be around next week. It's the week after and the week after that.
No, I'm not. I'm gonna take time off and spend time with my family before I go to Australia.
We're gonna all get the minion costumes. And
No.
we're just gonna be like,
No.
What podcast is that?
I wonder
If
if there's
they
a
hadn't
meme
become
that
a
I can-
favorite meme of middle-aged Facebook moms, I would have said yes, but no.
Excuse me.
Or
We're
we,
not
Harry.
or we could just do a special.
Not middle
Josh
aged.
talks about
Harry.
his robots.
We're not middle aged, Rachel.
You're not
I'm pretty
middle-aged.
damn close to it.
You are
I'm not talking
You're
about
25.
you.
You're
But
25.
I'm still in that
Okay.
demographic.
Wait,
You're not middle-aged. And I'm not
You're
talking about you anyway.
Damn close.
You're
to it.
25. You're 25. I saw that post on
I'm
Facebook.
the
I know
only
what's up.
person on this podcast.
whoa!
It's the Summer Movie SmackDown update.
Ding, 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 ding.
Ding.
Dale's movie that brought in $12 is leaving. Bye, Show Dog.
Give me $1 million value somehow.
Nice seeing you, Show Dogs, with your $12 at a taco. Bye. Deadpool 2 is also leaving. This is more true. Solo, the worst gangster movie ever. Gonna be your second week.
I love doing this show.
5% drop on the second week.
Yeah. Like I said, hello, Rogue One. How you doing?
How you doing?
It was okay. If you want to see it in theaters, go see it in theaters. If you're on the fence, watch it on Netflix.
Yeah, wait for it in like what 4 months to come on Netflix. Yeah, I would actually actively suggest waiting for it. I'm sorry, Raul. I don't want people to at me for I went to go see one of your SmackDown movies, and I know. So did I.
Also,
opening this week, Dale is taking control of the SmackDown with Jackass in an action park and whatever the fuck a drift is.
Tornado in Central Park, I think.
Okay.
I will earn $24 and 2 tacos this weekend. It's a double walk.
Tacos.
The fun part of action, I'll give Johnny Knoxville something on his stupid ass fucking movies. He does his own stunts and they're all really stupid, and he damn near broke his neck and died on this movie. So, I mean, that's something. It's not, I can guarantee it's not going to be a good something, but it's
definitely there.
I applaud the craft. I don't applaud the
content.
Yeah.
Oh, a young, mildly attractive couple get their first lovers too. Plot twist, and they get caught in hurricanes together forever. That movie poster, though, I don't like how they're silhouetted. Hang on, I got a link here. It's in the chat. That's what Adrift is.
Okay, then.
Raul's is still in first place with $18.6 million. I'm still in second place with $10.5 million. Charles is in third place with $30.4 million. Wow. Dale's in fourth place with $2.1 million. 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the last three episode in part 3 and 4. Carrie and Josh are never making their first movie or something. I don't know.
They're never making their first movies. What?
It's late.
So, what happened this week, Josh?
What's been going on this week?
This week on the Geek I Media Network, the generic live show breaks down the abortion reform in Ireland. And on the Mana Pool this week, a lesson for the ages, true now as it was and ever will be. Real heroes do their homework, kids. Training of the mind, body, and social skills, the band prepares to chase down and verify a legend in hopes of continuing their own. And on this week's Liquid Handicap, we had a bit of a wild ride. As yeah, we had a special guest from the moon decide to show off some of a Kickstartable game, Wild Mage. I highly recommend casting Firewall on the potato.
Nice.
That may or may not actually being put into the game now. The baked potato.
Right.
I hope so. That would make me so happy.
I think Josh has influenced the game with his pun yesterday.
Also, it was kind of great seeing the developer of the game cast Meteor on that. No, more. Spam it. I said spam it. Spam Meteor.
I'm out of mana. I can't spam it anymore.
Get on your ship. It gives you more region.
It was great. And also, stand back. No!
Yeah,
No, not that close. Get back.
Cast Fireball on the ship. This ship? Yeah. Fireball.
Not that close.
Is there friendly fire? Yep, there's definitely friendly fire spell damage.
Yeah.
I should probably turn friendly fire damage down.
And it's all going into, he probably has a notebook that he's
yeah.
Like, okay, so yeah, let me bring that damage down.
And on a pre-alpha game, like basically tech demo at this point, I only found one game-breaking bug, which was well done. Like, Obviously, there's some because it's still pre-alpha, it's pre-alpha, but
Yeah,
man,
it's pre-alpha. I mean,
yeah, but yeah, there was only one game-breaking thing where the keyboard map would go away.
And that's pretty minor for pre-alpha.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I was absolutely expecting like weird. I mean, weird shit. Me being stuck in the air for a while, but at least I can recover from that one.
Mm-hmm.
Kai channeled his inner Amy and just flew up into the sky and never came back down.
That was a damn pretty skybox.
Yeah, it was definitely a pretty skybox that I got stuck in.
Right.
All right, guys. They will see you next week. I don't know. We may show up. I don't know yet. Depends. Technically, we're not out of
with special guests, the people who own this network.
Technically, we're not out of town until the 13th or 14th. So
if they do show up, can I put with CJ Boat in the title like I do for the videos and stuff?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
All right,
All right,
guys.
We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Hi, my name is Water Buffalo, and I hope you've enjoyed this Geek I Media Network production. Copyright 2018, you see how that works?
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
Because it's shonen bullshit.